Are you from the military?
I'm not from the military, no.
Bro, you're so jacked up.
I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Ready to go? Hey boys, my name is Josh Dunn. School has asked me to come speak to you guys about my life and the importance of the choices you make. I had a very unfortunate upbringing. I grew up in very, very poor circumstances. So I moved around a lot. I went to about 6 different primary schools. I grew up in government housing. When I wasn't in government housing, I was living on lounges, floors of family members' houses. I even lived in a warehouse for a short period of my life because my family couldn't afford anything else. Due to me moving around a lot, I didn't find any sort of stable friends until I got to high school. You get to high school, this is where you start to develop your lifelong friendships. I made a bunch of good friends and I made a bunch of bad ones. As we sort of progressed and we got a little older in our life, all of my good friends who did well during school sort of went on a different path to me, and I started hanging around the wrong people. By the time I was 19 or 20, my parents were divorced and I lived on my own. I was still continuing to hang around with the wrong people. This led me into a life of selling drugs and eventually becoming affiliated with a gang. When I was growing up, I got to about 23 and I moved to Sydney, where I was working at a gym where most of the people who went there were bikies or drug dealers or some type of criminals, and I kind of fell in with them as well and ended up doing what they were doing. I thought my business wasn't making enough money, which it was, and I thought I had this preconceived notion that money would make my life a lot better and I'll be able to look after my family. So I got into, once again, selling drugs. Everything was fine until it wasn't. I've had a very unfortunate life where I've had to bury a lot of my friends. So from the ages of like 14, my friends started dying, and I've been to many, many funerals because of the actions that they took and the choices that they made. So when I got into obviously moving up here, that was just at an accelerated rate. Typically people who commit crimes end up in jail or they die. The last sort of day for me when I decided to turn my life around, one of my friends was shot in front of my gym and I had to watch. And then from there, I decided to turn my life around and changed. I moved back to Canberra and focused on being a more productive member of society. I started businesses. That was the thing that I found passion for and the thing that I really did well at. I always had like a small personal training business, but I started a business over COVID. I had about 18 staff. I was making about $100,000 a month. When COVID dropped, I sold the business and I eventually moved back up to Sydney, where I now run another business. I think the reason why I'm here today is to talk to you about the choices that you guys make. It's very easy to get caught up with being a teenager. I'm just some guy telling you guys what to do. You're going to live your own life regardless. But the choices you make now ripple on well into your 20s and your 30s. For instance, my family didn't do so well. I'm very lucky that I was able to get out of the situation I was in and this repetitious cycle of drug abuse and alcohol abuse and physical abuse. I was very fortunate to get out of it because a lot of my other friends and family members did not get out of it. And like I said, the ones that aren't dead or locked up are living pretty horrific lives now, all because of just some poor choices we made as teenagers. Any questions? Yeah, big man.
Mr. Josh.
Yeah, buddy. What were the important moments?
Yeah.
I think it's hard to define what an important moment is. There's been a lot of moments where change was forced, and I think those were the important moments. Like I said, having to watch CCTV footage of my friend dying was a life-altering moment for me. Watching good people around you die, these are life-altering moments. I've had very good times, don't get me wrong. I've been very fortunate with my life, but those are probably the most pivotal. But it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't be relying on these very horrific moments for you to change your life. When I was growing up, I thought being a man was being initially when I was in school, being a goofball. I figured if I could make people laugh, I wouldn't get picked on. Yeah, so I'd be the class clown, right? And that wears thin pretty quickly, right? You can't be an adult and be a goofball. People don't like it. So then I changed my image, and I thought being a man was being large and feared. So I hung around the people that sort of presented that. These things are very wrong. The men that I see do these things, like I said, they're always on bad paths. They're children that never grew up. and they're trying to be something they're not. Being a man is respecting the people around you and your friends. The people that are sitting next to you right now are going to be some of the best friends in your life. These are the ones that are going to pick you up when you're not doing so well. I told a story to the last class. When I moved back up to Sydney, one of my friends died in his sleep. He was 35 years old. He was very young, and his heart just stopped while he was sleeping. I was up here all by myself. I didn't have my friends around me because I'm from Canberra. I had nothing, right? If I didn't have my good friends, like the ones that I grew up with, that I had to rebuild my relationships with because I made such a mess, I don't think I'd be here today. I went to a very dark place, and the friends that I had helped me out of it. But these friends, I learned a lot from. They were respectful. Respect goes a long way. Once again, it's not necessarily to adults, but to each other. You got to respect each other, boys. Otherwise, life becomes incredibly complicated as you get older. Being a man is looking out for people who are less fortunate than you. I suffered abuse, a lot of it, in terms of physical abuse growing up from weak men who thought it was okay to beat children. I was beaten a lot as a child. I was taken off my parents because of it. These were from weak men. The people who think pushing other people down to push themselves up is a way to be a man. It's not. It's weak and it's pathetic. So you guys are in like such a pivotal stage of your life where this is a very important lesson. I wish I had somebody telling me the same thing. Like I said to the last class, I'm just an old guy standing in front of you talking. It might sink in, it might not. But from somebody who's come from like the worst situation possible to being able to run a very successful business, I have a great partner, I have a great life. Those are the things that help me get out of dying, essentially, or being locked up for my whole life. So.
You know when you said you had to be taken away from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go on from there?
So we got given back to our parents, but they had to be watched, essentially. So I was taken away for about 2 weeks, and I was moved up here to Sydney. So from Canberra, I just got put on a bus one day. Nobody told me anything, and I had to live in some camp up here. So it was a building where they just feed you and they keep you alive for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, they shipped me back. But having said that, the abuse changed from physical to emotional. So it didn't fix the problem, it just band-aided it. So
What's your favorite gun?
my favorite gun? None. No guns are fun. I watched my friend die from a gun, so I have a very bad taste in my mouth about them. They're horrible things that cause lots of destruction. Once again, I went from making quite a bit of money. I think I was making about $4,000 or $5,000 a week to making zero. I lost everything, essentially. I lived in perpetual fear, so I ended up having to move back to Canberra as a 30-year-old man and live with my grandma. At that moment, I knew I needed to change. It's not a good lifestyle living with your grandma at 30 years old. It's, once again, you're not a man if you're doing these things. And then hanging out with my grandma and seeing her just utterly disappointed with my life choices, and it got me there, made me want to change. I also, very unfortunately, get to see my family deteriorate. My brother, for instance, is a drug addict. He sits at home all day doing nothing. He is destroyed because of the way we grew up, and he didn't want help. He refused to accept help of people, and it destroyed him. So seeing that made me want to change my life.
You know what qualities made you a good man, Mr. Josh?
Yeah, of course. That's an easy one. Grit. Being just utterly determined to change my life. And respect. I've been in situations where the people closest to me have come up to me and told me I was living a horrific life, and out of respect for them, I changed. Respect goes a long way. I speak about it a lot. You respect the people who respect you, and you treat them accordingly. So those are the things that got me through it. The things that made me change was exactly that. Grit, just sheer determination to be better, and respect for the people around me.
When you were young, what did you want to be?
That is a good question. Nothing. I was told quite a bit that I would achieve nothing in life and that I'd be dead by 25. I was relentlessly told this as a child by teachers and adults. So I think that's what led me on the path that I am. I had nobody believing in me. So I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do or what I wanted to become, because every time I wanted to be something, I got told I was an idiot and that I needed to just accept my fate as nothing.
Traumas. How did you deal with them?
I started going to the gym. That was the first thing. I gave myself a bit of purpose. Going to the gym started out as I didn't want to be picked on anymore. Because we grew up so poor, I was very skinny. I was probably about 70 kilos as a 20-year-old kid. So I was quite skinny. I got picked on relentlessly, and the thing that sort of got me out of it is I learned how to fight. I went to a fight school. And then from there I got taught discipline, and then the same thing, I got taught respect and how to do things. And from there I stuck with the gym. Outside of that, I see a psychologist on and off when I need one to talk about my problems. But the best way to help yourself, surround yourself with good people. Having good people around you will help you a lot. How did I live by myself? I've lived by myself a few times. I've lived in share houses. There's a period where I had to live in my car. You survive, you get by, but that's the problem. And like most humans, we're programmed to survive, so we end up doing it. But sometimes surviving isn't enough.
What's your biggest regret in life?
What is my biggest... Look, I don't like to live by regrets. I think living by regrets, all of my regrets got me here. If there's things that I could change, and I know it sounds a bit like directed towards you guys, I wish I stuck with my good friends in high school. I wish they were more of a role model to me rather than somebody that I saw that I could never achieve to what they were. I think that would have helped me a lot in my life, and I wouldn't have wasted so much time, and I wouldn't have experienced so much sadness, I guess, in my 20s.
You look like Conor McGregor.
I've been told that a few times. Thank you.